Welcome, friend. If you're here tonight, you might have just closed your phone feeling worse than when you opened it. Everyone else's life looks perfect. Promotions, weddings, vacations, beautiful homes, and yours doesn't. That ache in your chest, that quiet voice saying you're falling behind, you're not alone. You can close your eyes now. Let your body settle into wherever you are. There's nothing you need to accomplish here, nothing to prove, no one to catch up to. For the next hour, you have permission to simply rest. If you've been scrolling tonight, seeing other people's joy and feeling somehow smaller, it's okay. You're not broken for feeling this way. You're human. The comparison, the envy, the feeling that everyone else has figured something out that you're still searching for, it's exhausting. And tonight, we're going to explore why your mind does this, not to judge it, but to understand it. We'll draw on teachings from the Buddha, not as religion, but as practical wisdom for this very human struggle. These are tools that have helped millions of people for over 2,000 years find peace with their own path, even when everyone else's path looks shinier. You'll hear stories tonight of people who learn to see others' success without feeling like failures themselves. You'll learn practices you can use starting right now to shift how you relate to comparison. By the end of our time together, you may find that the heaviness has lifted, that your breath comes easier, that you can think of someone else's good news without that sharp pain in your chest. Let's begin. First, let's understand what happened tonight, what you're really feeling, and why it hurts so much. Picture this. It's late evening. The day is done. You're in bed, phone in hand, scrolling. Instagram, TikTok, doesn't matter which one. You tell yourself you're just unwinding, just checking in. Then you see it. A friend from college posting about their engagement. The ring catches the light perfectly. The caption reads, "I said yes to forever." 3,000 likes already. You double tap, you leave a heart emoji, you type, "so happy for you." And you are. Part of you genuinely is. But another part, the part you don't want to admit, feels something else. A tightness in your chest, a sinking feeling in your stomach. You keep scrolling. A colleague posts about their promotion, corner office, new title. The photo shows them shaking hands with the CEO, both smiling wide. You comment, "Congrats, you deserve it." But your jaw clenches. Your throat feels tight. Next post. An old classmate you haven't seen in years. Family photo. 2 kids, a golden retriever, a house with a white picket fence. The caption, "Grateful for this life." You swipe past quickly, but the image stays with you. Your mind starts whispering. What are you doing wrong? Why is everyone else so far ahead? They're married, you're single. They're promoted, you're stuck. They have a family, you have an empty apartment. You close the app, but the feeling doesn't close with it. It sits there, heavy, like a stone in your chest. You lie there in the dark, replaying the images. Their happiness somehow feels like evidence of your failure. Their success, proof you're not enough. The shame creeps in. Not just that you feel behind, but that you feel this way at all. What kind of person can't just be happy for their friends? So you tell yourself, stop being petty. Stop being jealous. Just be grateful for what you have. But that doesn't work. The feeling stays. And now there's guilt on top of the envy. You're exhausted. From comparing, from performing, from pretending you're fine when every scroll reminds you that you're not where you thought you'd be by now. If this feels familiar, I want you to know something. You are not broken. You are not petty or small for feeling this way. Right now, at this very moment, millions of people are lying awake, feeling exactly what you're feeling. Scrolling through carefully curated highlight reels and mistaking them for reality. Comparing their messy, complicated, behind-the-scenes lives to everyone else's polished, filtered best moments. This isn't a personal failing. This is what happens when human brains, designed for small communities where you knew everyone's struggles, meet social media, where you only see everyone's wins. Your mind is doing what evolution taught it to do. It's measuring your success relative to those around you. In a small tribe, that made sense. If your neighbor had more food, more shelter, more resources, your survival was at risk. So your brain learned to compare, to compete, to constantly assess where you stand. But now your brain is comparing you to hundreds, thousands of people, most of whom you barely know, all of whom are showing you only what they want you to see. You're comparing your full reality to their carefully edited highlight reel, their vacations, not their arguments, their promotions, not their panic attacks, their engagement photos, not their loneliness before they met someone. And your brain doesn't know the difference. It just sees, they have something I don't. They're ahead. I'm behind. I'm losing. But here's what your mind isn't telling you. Their success doesn't erase your worth. Their happiness doesn't take from yours. Their timeline doesn't define your value. You're not in a race. You're not behind. You're on your own path. And that path doesn't have to look like anyone else's to be meaningful. The Buddha understood this. 2,500 years ago, long before Instagram, long before comparison became an industry, he saw how much suffering comes from measuring ourselves against others. How much pain comes from believing that there's not enough. Not enough success, not enough love, not enough time, not enough worth to go around. He taught something radical. He taught that you can see others' joy without feeling diminished. You can celebrate their success without it meaning you're failing. You can genuinely wish them well and still want things for yourself. It's called mudita, sympathetic joy. The practice of delighting in others' happiness, not because you're supposed to, not because you're a good person, but because their joy doesn't threaten yours, because there's enough for everyone. This might sound impossible right now, especially if you just closed your phone feeling small. But people have learned this, real people with the same struggles you have. And tonight, you're going to hear their stories. Let me tell you about Lisa. Lisa is 32, a graphic designer, freelance. Her work is her art. Her Instagram is her portfolio. Every post carefully curated, every project a chance to be seen. But Instagram is also where she sees everyone else. The designers she went to school with, the ones who've made it, magazine features, award wins. brand partnerships with companies she's only dreamed of working with. Every scroll, a quiet voice. You're not good enough. You're not there yet. Maybe you never will be. One evening, a friend from design school posts. She's won a major industry award. The photo shows her on stage, holding the trophy, beaming. Lisa's chest tightens. She types, "Congrats, you deserve this." And she means it. Part of her does. But another part is calculating. We graduated the same year. We had the same professors. Why her and not me? What does she have that I don't? Lisa closes the app, but the feeling stays. A heaviness, a sense of being left behind. She stops posting her own work. What's the point? It'll never measure up. She declines invitations to design meetups. Too risky. What if they ask what she's working on? What if she has nothing impressive to say? Weeks pass, then months. She's working, but in hiding. Creating, but not sharing. Avoiding the community she once loved because every interaction feels like a comparison she's losing. Then her phone rings. It's that same friend, the one with the award. "Lisa, I haven't seen you in months. Are you okay?" Lisa pauses. No one's asked her that in a while. She's been so busy performing fine that no one noticed she was disappearing. "I don't know," she says. And it's the most honest thing she's said in months. They talk. Her friend admits something Lisa never would have guessed. Winning the award didn't feel the way she thought it would. The imposter syndrome is worse now. The pressure to live up to it, crushing. Lisa realizes something. She's been comparing her full reality to a single moment. A photo, a post. She's been seeing the trophy, not the terror behind it. That night, Lisa deletes Instagram. Not forever, just for now. 1 month. The first week is hard. She reaches for her phone constantly. The urge to check, to compare, to measure herself against others, it's a reflex. But by week 2, something shifts. Without the constant stream of other people's wins, she starts noticing her own life again. The client who said her work was exactly what they needed. The sunrise she saw on a morning walk. The fact that she's been freelancing for 5 years, which means she's been sustaining herself doing what she loves. She starts a new practice. Every evening, before bed, she writes down 3 things that went well that day. Not impressive things, not shareable things, just real things. A good conversation, a design that clicked, a moment of peace. She's creating her own metrics, her own definition of success, not measured against anyone else. When Instagram envy does creep back in, because it still does, she practices something a therapist once mentioned. Mudita. She doesn't remember what it means exactly, but she remembers the idea. Wishing others well, not grudgingly, genuinely. So when she sees that friend's award post again, she tries it. Out loud, alone in her apartment, feeling a little ridiculous, she says, "May you be happy. Your success doesn't limit mine. It doesn't work immediately. The envy is still there. But something about saying it makes it feel less sharp, less like a judgment of her, more like just a fact about someone else's life." A month later, Lisa returns to Instagram, but differently. She mutes accounts that trigger her. not out of bitterness, out of self-care. She follows people whose work inspires her without making her feel small. She starts posting again, not to prove anything, just to share. Her creativity returns, not because she stopped caring about success, but because she stopped outsourcing her worth to other people's timelines. Lisa learned something the hard way. The problem wasn't her peers. The problem wasn't even Instagram. It was the lens she was using. She was looking at their highlight reels and mistaking them for the full picture. She was measuring her worth by their visibility. When she changed the lens, when she started seeing her own path as valid, even when it didn't look like theirs, the comparison lost its power. Now, Lisa's journey was about boundaries, about stepping back to see clearly. But Kevin's struggle was different. His was about measuring success with the wrong ruler entirely. Kevin is 38, a high school English teacher. He loves his job, loves the moment a student finally understands a poem, loves seeing kids discover they can write. But his college friends? They're lawyers, doctors, tech executives. LinkedIn shows him their promotions, new titles, new offices, houses in neighborhoods he can't afford, vacations to places he's never been. And Kevin? He's still in the same classroom, same salary, same small apartment. At their 10-year reunion, someone asks what he's up to. "I'm a teacher," he says. "Oh, that's great," they reply, but their eyes say, "Just a teacher." He drives home feeling ashamed. He chose meaning over money, purpose over prestige. But lying in bed that night, the doubt creeps in. Did I make the wrong choice? Did I settle? Did I choose nobility to avoid competition? He starts resenting his friends, not openly, just quietly. When they complain about stress, he thinks, at least you can afford to be stressed. When they post vacation photos, he scrolls past quickly, jaw tight. He's bitter, and he hates that he's bitter, because he used to love teaching. He used to feel proud, but comparison has poisoned it. Then one afternoon, a student stays after class, a quiet kid who rarely speaks. She hands him a note. "I just wanted to say thank you. Last year, I didn't think I was smart. I thought I was bad at English, bad at school, bad at everything. But you made me feel like I could do it. And now I'm applying to college. I wouldn't be if it weren't for you. You changed my life." Kevin reads it twice, 3 times. His eyes well up. He realizes something. He's been measuring his life with the wrong ruler. Success isn't singular. It's not just salary, title, square footage. There are infinite ways to build a meaningful life. And he's been so busy looking at his friends' metrics that he forgot his own. That night, he starts a new practice. Every morning, before checking his phone, he lists 3 things his work provides. Not money, not prestige, things that matter to him. Connection, purpose, the chance to shape young minds. The fact that he gets summers off to read, to write, to rest in ways his lawyer friends never can. When comparison hits now, which it still does, he reminds himself, different paths, not better or worse, just different. He reaches out to one of those friends, the tech executive, asks how he's really doing, not the LinkedIn version, the real version. His friend admits, I make a lot of money, but I barely see my kids. I'm exhausted all the time. I don't know if this is what I want, but I don't know how to stop. Kevin realizes the grass isn't greener. It's just different grass with different weeds. He stops going to reunions to prove anything. He goes because he wants to see people, not to measure himself against them. His pride in his work returns, not because it compares favorably to anyone else's, but because it's his, and it's meaningful, and that's enough. Kevin learned something crucial. Success isn't one thing. There's no single path to a life well lived. He'd been playing a game where someone else made the rules. When he stopped playing their game and remembered his own, the comparison lost its sting. Now, Lisa learned to create boundaries. Kevin learned to change his metrics. But Yuki's struggle was about timelines, about feeling behind in a race she never signed up for. Yuki is 29, single, living in a city where everyone seems to be pairing off. Her feed is full of engagement announcements, wedding photos, pregnancy reveals. Her friends are hitting milestones, and she's still swiping through dating apps, going on first dates that go nowhere. Every announcement feels like a countdown, like the window is closing, like she's running out of time. A close friend gets engaged. Yuki is genuinely happy. She helps plan the bridal shower. She's excited to celebrate. But lying in bed that night, after scrolling through the engagement photos one more time, she feels it. The ache, the question, what's wrong with me? She starts avoiding social events, weddings especially. Too painful. Every bouquet toss, every couple dancing, a reminder that she's alone. She compares timelines. I'm 29. Mom was married by 25. Everyone else is settling down. I'm falling behind. She feels defective, broken, like she missed some crucial step that everyone else figured out. Then one evening, that newly engaged friend calls. They're talking about wedding planning, and the friend goes quiet. "Can I be honest?" she says. "I'm terrified. Marriage is nothing like Instagram. We're fighting about money, about his family, about where to live. I'm happy, but I'm also scared out of my mind, and I can't post that. So everyone just sees the ring, not the reality." Yuki is stunned. She's been envying a curated story, seeing the smiles, not the struggles. She realizes something. She doesn't see the full picture, ever. She sees the wedding, not the compromise. The baby announcement, not the sleepless nights. The happy couple photo, not the argument an hour before. She's been comparing her full, messy, complicated reality to everyone else's best edited moments. That night, Yuki makes a decision. She mutes some accounts, not out of spite, out of self-preservation. The accounts that make her feel less than, she hides for now. She can come back to them later when she's stronger. But right now, she needs to protect her peace. When envy does arise, because it still does, she practices something she read about. She doesn't remember where, but it stuck with her. When she sees an engagement photo now, she pauses. She takes a breath, and she says silently, "May you be happy. Your timeline isn't my timeline." It feels awkward at first, forced, but something about naming it, about wishing them well out loud takes the edge off. She starts adding a second part. May you be happy, and may I find what I need in my own time. Because that's the truth she's learning. She can want a relationship and still celebrate others having one. She can feel behind and still recognize that behind is an illusion. There is no race. There's no finish line. There's just different people living different lives at different paces. She still goes to weddings. But now she goes for the joy, not to measure herself. She's still single, but she's not bitter. Yuki learned something profound. You can want something deeply for yourself and still genuinely celebrate someone else having it. It's not either or, it's both. Longing and celebration can coexist. Envy and mudita, they can live side by side. And slowly, with practice, mudita gets louder. You've heard 3 stories now. Lisa, Kevin, Yuki. 3 different lives, 3 different struggles. But notice the thread. They all discovered the same thing. The pain wasn't coming from other people's success. It was coming from the story they were telling about what that success meant about them. Lisa's story. Their visibility means I'm invisible. Kevin's story. Their wealth means I failed. Yuki's story. Their timeline means I'm behind. All false, all painful, all so very human. And all of them learned the same practice. Not to stop wanting things, not to pretend they didn't care, but to see others' joy without it erasing their own worth. This is what the Buddha taught. This is mudita. And it's not easy. But it's possible. Let's explore how. You heard 3 stories, Lisa, Kevin, Yuki. 3 different struggles. Career comparison, financial comparison, timeline comparison. But notice what they all discovered. The pain wasn't coming from other people's success. It was coming from the lens they were using to see it. Lisa saw her friend's award and thought, I'm invisible. Kevin saw his friend's wealth and thought, I failed. Yuki saw engagement photos and thought, I'm behind. All of these were stories, not facts. Stories their minds told to make sense of the gap between where they were and where they thought they should be. And all of them learned the same practice. A teaching the Buddha offered 2,500 years ago, long before social media, but perfectly designed for this moment. It's called mudita. Mudita is a Pali word. It means sympathetic joy, delighting in others' happiness, celebrating their success without feeling diminished by it. Not because you're a good person, not because you should, but because their joy doesn't actually threaten yours. This might sound impossible right now, especially if you just spent the evening scrolling through posts that made you feel small. But stay with me. The Buddha noticed something profound about the human mind. He noticed that we suffer not just from pain, but from how we relate to pain. When someone else succeeds and you feel envy, that's 2 layers. First, there's the simple fact. They got engaged, they got promoted, they bought a house. That's just information, neutral. But then your mind adds a story. Their engagement means I'm unlovable. Their promotion means I'm incompetent. Their house means I'm failing at life. That's the second layer, and that's where the suffering lives. The Buddha called this the second arrow. Life shoots the first arrow: pain, loss, disappointment. You can't always avoid that, but then you shoot yourself with a second arrow: the story, the meaning you make, the judgment you add. Comparison is the second arrow. The first arrow is simple observation. They have something I don't. The second arrow is the conclusion. Therefore, I'm not enough. Mudita is the practice of removing that second arrow, of seeing someone's joy as just that, their joy, not a commentary on your worth. Now, you might be thinking, that's nice in theory, but how? How do I feel happy for someone when their success makes me feel like I'm losing? This is where the Buddha's insight gets really practical. He taught that envy comes from a belief in scarcity. The belief that there's only so much success, so much love, so much happiness to go around. And if they got some, there's less for you. This made sense evolutionarily. In a small tribe, resources were finite. If your neighbor had more food, you had less. Your brain learned to see the world as a zero-sum game. Their win equals your loss. But happiness isn't food. Success isn't a pie that gets smaller when someone takes a slice. Your colleague's promotion doesn't close doors for you. Your friend's engagement doesn't mean you won't find love. Their beautiful house doesn't make your apartment less yours. Their joy doesn't subtract from your potential joy. But your mind hasn't caught up to this truth yet. It's still running the old program. Scarcity, competition, win or lose. Mudita is the practice of rewiring that program, of training your mind to see abundance instead of scarcity, to see their success as proof that good things happen, not proof that you're failing. Remember Lisa? She practiced saying, "May you be happy. Your success doesn't limit mine." That second sentence is crucial. It's the reframe. It's teaching her brain a new story. Abundance, not scarcity. Kevin did something similar. He stopped measuring his life by his friends' metrics and created his own. Different paths, not better or worse. Yuki learned, your timeline isn't my timeline, which is another way of saying there's no race, there's no behind or ahead, just different people living different lives. All of them were practicing mudita, celebrating others without diminishing themselves. Now, you might still be skeptical. This sounds like spiritual bypassing, like I'm asking you to pretend you're not hurt, to fake positivity, to gaslight yourself into being happy when you're not. That's not what this is. Mudita doesn't mean you're not allowed to want things. It doesn't mean you can't feel envy. It means you don't have to let envy define you. You don't have to believe the story it tells. You can feel envy and practice mudita. Both can be true. In fact, research shows this is exactly how it works. Dr. Barbara Fredrickson at the University of North Carolina studies positive emotions. Her research shows that emotions like joy, gratitude, and what she calls elevation, that feeling you get when you witness someone else's goodness. These emotions broaden your perception. Envy narrows it. When you're envious, your brain goes into threat mode, tunnel vision. You see only what you lack, only how you're losing. But mudita, sympathetic joy, it activates a different mode, opportunity mode. Your brain sees possibility. If it happened for them, it can happen for me. If they found love, love exists. If they succeeded, success is possible. Same external reality, different lens, different experience. Another researcher, Leon Festinger, created social comparison theory back in the 1950s. He showed that we naturally compare ourselves to others. It's hardwired. We can't not do it. But he also found something crucial: upward comparison. Comparing yourself to people who seem ahead of you that triggers shame and envy, unless you reframe it. If you see their success as judgment, it hurts. If you see their success as inspiration, as proof of what's possible, it motivates. Mudita is that reframe. It's choosing inspiration over judgment. There's even neuroscience backing this up. Mirror neurons. These are neurons in your brain that fire both when you do something and when you watch someone else do it. When you see someone smile, your mirror neurons activate as if you're smiling. When you see someone in pain, you feel an echo of that pain. This is empathy. This is how we connect. But here's what's fascinating. Mirror neurons don't just activate for pain. They activate for joy too. When you genuinely celebrate someone else's success, when you practice mudita, your brain experiences their joy. Not as intensely as they do, but you get a taste. You're literally sharing in their happiness, not in a metaphorical way, in a neurological way. Jealousy does the opposite. Jealousy activates the same brain regions as physical pain. The anterior cingulate cortex lights up. It hurts. But mudita activates reward centers, the same areas that light up when good things happen to you. So when you practice wishing others well, genuinely, you're not just being nice. You're actually training your brain to experience more joy. Their happiness becomes a source of happiness for you, not a source of pain. Now, let's bring this back to you, to tonight, to that post you saw that made you feel small. What if you could see it differently? Not as evidence that you're failing, not as proof that you're behind, but as proof that good things happen, that success is possible, that joy exists in the world. What if their engagement photo isn't a judgment of your singleness, but a reminder that love is real and people find it? What if their promotion isn't evidence that you're incompetent, but proof that hard work gets recognized, which means your work can be recognized too? What if their beautiful life isn't a referendum on your worth, but just their life, separate from yours, both valid, both real? This is mudita. This is the practice. Not pretending you don't want things, not faking happiness you don't feel, but choosing a different story. One where their joy doesn't require your diminishment. You can celebrate them and still want things for yourself. You can feel envy and still practice mudita. You can be on your own timeline and still honor theirs. This is the wisdom the Buddha offered. And it's not about perfection. It's about practice, about slowly, gently retraining your mind to see abundance where it once saw scarcity. It's possible. Lisa did it. Kevin did it. Yuki did it. And tonight, you're going to learn how. So how do you actually do this? How do you practice mudita when every cell in your body is screaming that you're falling behind? Let's be clear about something first. This isn't about forcing positivity. This isn't about pretending you're not hurt. This isn't about gaslighting yourself into being happy when you're not. You can practice mudita and still want things desperately for yourself. You can feel envy and still wish others well. Both can be true. This is not either or. It's both and. The goal isn't to never feel comparison. The goal is to not let comparison hijack your entire sense of worth. Progress, not perfection. That's what we're aiming for. So let's practice together, right now, not someday, tonight. First practice, right now, with me. Think of someone whose success recently triggered envy. Maybe it's the post you saw tonight, the engagement, the promotion, the perfect family photo. Whoever it is, bring them to mind. Don't force a smile. Don't pretend you're happy. Just notice what you feel. The tightness, the ache, the voice that says you're not enough. Let it be there. You don't have to fix it. Just acknowledge it. This is envy. This is comparison. This is human. Now, we're going to try something. We're going to practice mudita. And you don't have to mean it. You don't have to believe it. You just have to say it. Think of it as an experiment. With that person in mind, say silently, "May you be happy." Just those 4 words. You don't have to force warmth. You don't have to feel it deeply. Just say it. May you be happy. Now add this. May your success bring you joy. And this. Your happiness doesn't take from mine. Notice what happens. Did anything shift, even slightly? Maybe the grip in your chest loosened just a fraction. Maybe the story your mind was telling got a little quieter. Or maybe nothing changed. Maybe it feels forced and fake, and you don't believe a word of it. That's okay. That's actually perfect. Because you just practiced. You just did the thing. And that's what matters. You're not trying to become enlightened in the next 60 seconds. You're just planting a seed. And seeds take time to grow. That was mudita. That's the practice. Wishing someone well, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Now, let's talk about what to do before you fall asleep tonight. And every night after. When you're in bed, when the day is done, when your mind starts replaying the posts you saw, the comparisons you made, try this. If you find yourself scrolling and envy hits, pause. Actually pause. Put the phone down. Don't keep scrolling to numb the feeling. That just makes it worse. Step 1. Name it. Out loud if you can. In your head if you can't. This is envy. This is comparison. Naming it takes away some of its power. It stops being this vague, overwhelming feeling and becomes something specific, something you can work with. Step 2. Ask yourself, what am I really longing for? Because here's the thing, you're not actually envious of their engagement ring. You're longing for partnership, for someone to choose you, for love. You're not actually envious of their promotion. You're longing for recognition, for your work to matter, for security. You're not actually envious of their house. You're longing for stability, for a place that feels like home, for proof that you're building something. Get specific. What's the longing underneath the envy? Step 3. Separate their having it from you not having it. This is crucial. Their engagement doesn't mean you won't find love. It means they found love. Two separate facts. Their promotion doesn't mean you won't be recognized. It means they were recognized. Both can be true. Say this out loud. May they have what they have. May I find what I need. Not, may I have what they have. That keeps you locked in comparison. But may I find what I need. That brings you back to your own path. Step 4. Reframe. Their success is not evidence that you're failing. It's proof that good things happen, that what you want exists in the world, that it's possible. If they found love, love exists. If they got promoted, recognition is real. If they built a life they're proud of, so can you. Their joy is not your enemy. It's a reminder. It's proof of possibility. Say this. Their success means it's possible, not that I'm failing. This is the practice. 4 steps. Name it. Ask what you're longing for. Separate their path from yours. Reframe. You won't remember all of this. That's okay. Just remember one thing. Pause. That's the most important part. When envy hits, pause. Don't keep scrolling. Don't spiral. Just pause. And in that pause, say one thing. May they be happy. May I find what I need. That's it. That's the whole practice. Now, one more practice for tomorrow morning. Before you check your phone, before you see anyone else's updates, before you start comparing, do this. Sit up in bed, take 3 breaths, and ask yourself these 3 questions. What went well in my life yesterday? Not impressive things, not shareable things, just real things. You had a good conversation. You finished a task. You saw something beautiful. You laughed. Write down 3 things. Actual writing. Pen and paper if you have it. Second question. What am I grateful for in my journey? Not in comparison to anyone else. Just yours. Maybe you're learning something. Maybe you're healing from something. Maybe you're building something slowly. 3 things. Write them down. Third question. What's one thing I can do today that aligns with my values? Not your Instagram values, your actual values. Connection, creativity, rest, growth, whatever matters to you. One thing, something small, something doable. This practice takes 5 minutes, and what it does is train your brain to see your own life before you see everyone else's. You're creating your own metrics, your own definition of a good day, your own measure of success. Because here's the truth: you will never win the comparison game. There will always be someone ahead, always someone with more, always another post that makes you feel small. But if you define success by your own metrics, if you measure your day by your own values, comparison loses its power. You're not playing their game anymore. You're playing yours. Now let's talk about boundaries. Because sometimes mudita isn't enough. Sometimes you need to protect your peace. If there are accounts that consistently make you feel terrible, mute them. Not forever, not out of bitterness, but for now, until you're stronger. You don't owe anyone access to your mental space. You don't have to keep consuming content that hurts you just because you should be happy for them. You can be happy for them from a distance. You can celebrate their joy without witnessing every moment of it. Muting is not meanness, it's self-care. And if you're worried that makes you a bad person, let me be clear. A bad person wouldn't care about being a bad person. The fact that you're worried about it means you're not. You're human. You're doing your best. And sometimes your best includes creating space between you and things that hurt. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. Here's what I want you to remember. Mudita is a practice, not a personality trait. You're not either enlightened or petty. You're not either generous or jealous. You're human, which means you're both. And that's okay. Some days you'll see someone's success and genuinely feel happy for them. Some days you'll see the same thing and want to throw your phone across the room. Both are okay. Both are human. Neither defines you. The practice is just this. When envy arises, and it will, pause, notice it, name it, and then, if you can, say one small thing. May you be happy. You don't have to mean it every time. You don't have to feel it deeply. You just have to practice. And slowly, over time, something shifts. Not because you forced it, but because you kept showing up, kept practicing, kept choosing a different story. Lisa did this. Kevin did this. Yuki did this. They didn't become perfect. They just became a little freer, a little less controlled by comparison, a little more at peace with their own path. That's what's possible for you, too. Not perfection, not enlightenment, just a little more peace, a little more freedom, a little more space to appreciate your own life without constantly measuring it against everyone else's. That's mudita. That's the practice. And it starts tonight, right now, with one person, one post, one may you be happy. That's all you need to begin. Let's bring it all together now. Tonight, you learned about mudita, sympathetic joy, the practice of celebrating others without feeling diminished. You heard 3 stories, Lisa, who learned that her worth isn't measured by her visibility, that she can create boundaries, step back from the noise, and define success on her own terms. Kevin, who discovered that there's no single path to a meaningful life, that his journey has value even when it doesn't look like his friends' journeys. Different paths, not better or worse. Yuki, who realized that timelines are illusions, that she's not behind, that she can want love for herself and still celebrate others finding it. You learned why comparison hurts so much, because your mind is running an old program: scarcity, competition, zero-sum thinking. Their win means your loss, but that's not true. Not for happiness, not for success, not for love. There's enough for everyone. You practiced together. You said, "May you be happy. Your happiness doesn't take from mine." You might not have believed it fully. That's okay. You planted the seed. You learned a practice for tonight and every night. When envy arises, pause. Name it. Ask what you're really longing for. Separate their path from yours. Reframe their success as proof of possibility, not proof of your failure. You learned a morning practice. 3 questions before you check your phone. What went well in my life? What am I grateful for? What aligns with my values today? Your own metrics, your own measure of a good life. And you learned about boundaries. That muting accounts isn't meanness, it's self-care. That you can celebrate people from a distance while you heal. All of this you learned tonight. And now, here's what I want you to know. You don't need to remember all of it. You don't need to get it perfect. You don't need to practice mudita flawlessly every time comparison arises. Your heart already knows the truth underneath all of this. You are enough, exactly as you are, on your own timeline, on your own path, with your own definition of success. Their joy doesn't erase your worth. Their milestones don't define your value. Their highlight reel doesn't determine your reality. You already know this, somewhere deep down. Tonight just reminded you. So let it all go now. The practices, the teachings, even these words. Your body knows how to rest. Your mind knows how to let go. You don't have to hold on to any of this. It's already planted. It will grow on its own. Just rest now. Feel your body. Notice how heavy it's becoming. Your head sinking into the pillow, the weight of it held so gently. Your shoulders releasing down. All that tension you've been carrying melting away. Your arms heavy at your sides, so heavy, like they're sinking into the bed beneath you. Your chest rising and falling. Each breath a little slower than the last. Your legs relaxing, letting go. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. You're safe here. The day is done. The comparisons can wait. The scrolling can wait. Everything can wait. Right now, there's only this breath, this body, this moment of rest. Let your mind drift. Let the thoughts come and go like clouds. You don't have to follow them. You don't have to solve anything, just rest. You did something brave tonight. You looked at the part of you that compares, that envies, that feels behind. And instead of judging it, you held it with compassion. That's what the Buddha taught, not to be perfect, but to be kind to yourself, to others, to the messy, complicated human experience of wanting things and not having them yet. You practiced that tonight, and now you can let it all go. The envy, the comparison, the need to prove anything. Let it all go. Sinking deeper now, your whole body releasing, every muscle softening, every thought fading. Nothing to hold on to, nothing to figure out, just this, rest, peace. Let's rest together. May you rest deeply tonight. May you wake tomorrow and see your life through your own eyes, not through the lens of comparison. May you celebrate others without feeling smaller. May you remember that your path is yours, and it's exactly where you need to be. May you know in your bones that their joy doesn't threaten yours, that there's enough success, enough love, enough happiness for everyone, including you. May you be gentle with yourself when envy arises, because it will arise. You're human, and that's not failure. That's just being alive. May you find your own metrics, your own definition of a good day, your own measure of a life well lived. May you release the need to catch up, to keep up, to measure up. You already measure up. You always have. May you rest in that knowing. There's nothing left to do now. No one to compare yourself to. No timeline to follow. No achievement to chase before you're allowed to rest. You can rest now, just as you are, on your own path, in your own time. Enough. You are enough. Let everything go now. The posts you saw tonight, the comparisons you made, the voice that said you're behind. Let it all drift away, like clouds passing through the sky. You don't have to hold any of it. Sinking deeper down into rest. Your breath, so slow now, barely there. Safe, held. Nothing to prove, no one to become. Just this breath, this body, this moment. Rest. Sleep. Rest well, friend.